I'll have to write us back tonight. I should head home and check on Dad. Oh, we have to. Right, okay. Hey, Dad, how are you feeling? Ah, Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure I can bring something light, like milk or broth? No, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, the old history. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Tassing's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till if his grandfather... Black Till? If his grandfather told him any stories. Illuminata says he used to read about the Romans. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene. We'll humour him. Right, yes, Mother Illuminata. Young Kurtzner has mentioned those tales from time to time, yes. He comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually he's been found some interest, and usually when he's found some interesting old ruin out in the fields. You might ask him about that. Il Peter's always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore too. It's maybe a good thing that... Or should we have encouraged Ursula? I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell about old Tassing. You might stop to talk to him. I didn't think of that. Thanks, Dad. I hardly understand him these days, but it's worth asking. But he's so mean. Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Of course, Magdalene. It's nice to feel useful, even if I'm stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. You might talk to Smokey, too. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in the woods and around the town than anyone else. And he's a known gossip. He's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain or something about the ruins. Isn't he a bit eccentric? Of course he's eccentric. He lives in the woods. You may hear something worth your while at any rate. I'll go talk to him. And what about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever is left from the Romans and before. And the salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest parts of Tassing, so it makes sense to see what they left behind. You take after your mother. She was always thorough in her research. Always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful. All right. I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. I don't know why Jog doesn't keep them in line. Always making trouble, those two. Don't worry about me, Dad. I'll be careful. They don't have brains enough to keep out of trouble. I do. That's what happens when you name your kids after pagan gods instead of saints, I guess. Yeah, that's humorous. Don't start that, Magdalene, or I might expect you to join poor Claire's. Don't forget your other chores while you're running around town, alright? We still have a household to run. Don't worry, I'll get everything done. I'll get to them, Dad. Don't worry, I'll get everything done. That's my girl. I'd better get going if I want to do all that today. I'll see you later, Dad. Good luck, Magdalene. Poor Klaus. And nobody seems to be looking for his attacker. Is that right? Right. This time, I think Magdalene is a little bit less flowery than how I played Andreas. and flamboyantly prancing about, not really paying attention to stuff, so we're going to read the journal. Il Peter, Black Till, Smokey. Martin. Well, Smokey and Martin. We'll do Smokey and Martin first. Bridgeter. Magdalene, how are you keeping? By being as I continue work on the mural, I have so much to do before Christmas. Fine enough given the circumstances. Fine enough given the circumstances. Are you getting enough rest? I know how hard it is to manage a household. And you have the shop and the mural to worry about too. I remember Clara wishing she had a distraction. You might see about her helping you and your father through this difficult season. How is Klaus, by the way? Any improvement? You're one of the only people who've asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. His mind is fading. I pray for him every night. You're one of the only people who's asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Your self disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you, carrying that weight alone. I remember when my dad fell. We cared for him as best we could, but those last few months before he passed were a tough time for everyone. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. God willing, you're right. I'm at his mercy. I don't know what I'll do if he dies. I feel crazy even thinking about it. Yeah. Should the worst come to pass, you will not be alone, Magdalene, believe me. May feel like you are, but... Have you thought what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? Dad would want me to keep up the printing press. I truly don't know. I can't think of that far ahead right now. Dad would want me to keep up the printing press. Wouldn't that be a sight? Are you sure you could handle it? It's a lot to manage on your own. You're a good girl, Magda. And there are any number of families in Tassing who'd be happy to take you. You have someone in mind, don't you? I promise you I don't. You must be not. I promise you I don't. Ah, interesting. I promise you I don't. Such a modest girl. Your dad raised you right. I mean odds, of course. He's about as subtle as his father, God rest Otto's soul. Ah, I miss him. I wish I'd gotten to meet him properly, I mean. He made an impression, that's for certain. Oh, the girls around town knew better than to moon after him. Oh, that didn't stop some of us. He was Eva's from the start, as Ots appears to be yours. But if nothing comes of that, know that you're always welcome in my family, Magda. Kraft's a nice, hard-working boy. He's got a sharp mind. He can provide for a family. Are you trying to set me up with your son? I'm not sure. Are you trying to set me up with your son? Can you blame a mother for trying? You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have as a daughter. Yes, I can see. I don't mean to be rude, but I prefer to decide my own time. I'm not sure we're a good match. That seems like the easiest way to get out of it. I'll consider it. Thank you, sweet girl. Not every marriage starts off on solid footing, but if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. Believe me. It's not working out. You can be sure a couple better together. How can you be sure a couple's better together? You're not making a... Maybe I'll never get married. You're not making the prospect sound very enticing. You're not making the prospect sound very enticing. Marriage is our natural state. It's in our homes that we're closest to the Lord. And the Lord made us for Adam, from Adam's ribs, because he's meant to be a part of men. You would be lonely to never know that fullness of purpose. There's no life for someone like you. You're not the first person to tell me so. I don't care about my life. I just want to go to that. Yeah, you're not the first person to tell me so. That's because your elders are wise, Magda. We trust in our love for you and in the Lord's purpose. Fuck the Lord's purpose. I don't buy into any of that religious stuff. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Oh, before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Thank you, Bridget. Be well. I had a question about an old book. Until later. I missed my until later chance. Martin is supposed to have stolen it from that baron that was killed years ago. Do you know what happened to it? Oh. I hope this doesn't get me into trouble, but I still have it hidden in a drawer. Martin left it behind when he ran off. Why'd you keep it? What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was, holding his stolen book. I didn't want Martin to get in any more trouble than he was already in. I never read it, though. I don't read well. You want to read it? Can I have it? I could take it off your hands. No one would ever know you kept it. Bargaining? I trust you to be true to your word, Magda. I'd like to have nothing more to do with it. To be frank, it reminds me of difficult times. Stolen book from a dead nobleman in our home. Perhaps it's spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Here you go. Please, don't tell anyone I had this. Ah, Historia Tassai. We finally got the book. Oh, it's in Latin. I can understand a few words and phrases. I'll have a close look in the evening. Thank you, Bridgeta. You've been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Bridgeta. Until later. We're keeping the Andreas trend alive. Martin. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring. Even though his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place thanks to him. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. What do you mean? Don't pretend you haven't heard. Townsfolk have been whispering shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm an honest man. I don't get involved. Wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. I pulled my weight around here, tilled the soil, salt the meats, provided for Bridgeta and Kraft. I've done enough back-breaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a goddamn rest? Why always getting into fights anyway? Bridgeta supports you in all this, doesn't she? I believe you, Martin. You seem like you could use a respite. Why are you always getting into fights anyway? Sometimes an asshole just needs his teeth pounded in. Does beating the shit out of someone really solve a problem? Maybe. Don't want to solve problems though. Don't have the patience anymore. Had enough. I just want what I'm owed. What's he owed? Right. Lost enough time to this. Time for you to go. Until later, Martin. That's going to get really weird, but I'm just going to keep doing it. She turns into Andreas every time until later pops up. Oh, wrong button. Right, okay. So. We got the book. We'll read it tonight. Let's try Il Peter. Jutta. Hey, Magdalene. Hetty. Oh, this is the Bauer residence, isn't it? Hello, Magdalene. How's the mural coming? That's not Eddie. Jesus Christ, where did that come from? Wow. I was going for drunk, and it did not end up that way. I hear you browbeat the council into letting you do it yourself. I don't care about the council. I only want to finish the mural for my dad. It took some work, but I convinced him to let me paint the row house, yes. Not stand a chance against me, one side set me. I do it for Dad. You're a dutiful girl, Magdalene. No one can fault you for that. But you painting the rat house? I can't imagine what would happen when I was a girl. Only those old Benedictine sisters ever did much art. Do you think they were happy? Without anyone to need things from them? What a life. Except for prayers, of course. Listening to Father Thomas on Sundays is enough for me. Anyway, it's good to see you standing up to the council. That Zimmerman boy seems to be good head on his shoulders, though. Once you settle down with him, you'll have a good life ahead of you. You'll like him. Then we're going to learn to love each other. I think I'd rather marry for love, Eddie. What? So I'm not going to marry him. So I think about the future right now with what happened to Dad. Yeah, that's maybe the angle. It's hard to think about the future right now with what happened to Dad. Oh, sweet girl, I'm sorry. My mouth goes faster than my head sometimes. Oh, so am I, Johan used to say. Your dad's only ever been fair weather friend to people like me, but he's a family man at heart, and I can respect that. I hope he knows how lucky he is to have you looking after him. He regrets it, you know. What happened the night the Abbey burned? Thanks, Eddie. I'll say. He regrets it. I'm sure he does. He couldn't have a real difference for us. He couldn't have made a real difference for us. Stuck his neck out, but he was scared. He could have made a... Okay, yeah. We all wish things could have turned out differently, but that's life. That's what all the people say. Anyway, give my best to your father and take care of yourself. Thanks, Eddie. Until later. Until then. Simon. Hans. So it's Hans's farm now. Who's Simon? Is he just a farmhand? Hey, Magdalene. I heard what happened to your dad. How's he doing? Resting? He suffered a severe blow to the head. I'm worried, to say the least. Hans sends his regards. The Bauer household is praying for a swift recovery. Thank you. And thank Hans and Jutta as well. I will. Faust has always been such a bedrock of Tassing. I'd hate for him to die. Be sorry. It's fine. I fear it as well. It's best not to ignore one's fears. He's not going to die, I won't allow it. It's best not to ignore one's fears. Do you miss your father? Your real one, I mean? Do I miss him? Kind of. I don't know Joseph all that much. He became a haze of sorts, a faint echo, a feeling, an occasional emotion. I was so young when he got killed. Mum said I had trouble understanding what happened for a long time. I understand. My mum, she was an empty hole in my life. I have nothing of her. It's not easy to experience this type of... Yeah. The mum thing. Oh, yeah. You never got to see her, right? You're not even a memory, huh? Suppose you have yourself a comparison. God moulded you after her. I can imagine how she would have been like. Stubborn and unruly, yeah. But can I know if I'm actually like my mum? All I have is stories from people. If that's what it takes, I don't see people of wealth and power giving the rest of us much headway. I only have stories. Well, you read books, don't you? Stories are things that are true. Books and stories are about a lot of things. Stories are about a lot of things. Oh, well, I can't read anyway. Would you want to learn? Don't have the time. Work on farm never ends, especially when tax is eating at us. Anyway, winter's drawing closer and I've got a lot of preparations to take care of. I truly hope Klaus recovers soon. Good luck after you. God look after you both. Until later, Simon. We didn't talk to Jutta, did we? Oh no, we did. She's just ignoring us. Hans? Hello, Magdalene. Hello, Hans. I hope your dad recovers quickly. He's a good man. Dr. Stoltz thinks I should prepare myself for the worst. Thank you. I'll tell him you said that. I hope so too. I'll tell him you said that. Good. This town has seen too many terrible things happen, but we've recovered before. Maybe the Lord will return your dad to health too. You can't expect the Lord to do all the work. Perhaps there's something in one of my books. I pray you're right. You can't expect the Lord to do all the work. Don't spend too much time with your head in a book that you'll miss your dad's last days. Be glad you have this time with him, I say. Wish I'd had as much with Eliwig. Anyway, do you need something? Kraft hasn't bothered you again, has he? Or gotten into some other trouble? No, he's been fine, mostly. Good, that boy's a thorn in my boot. He's lazy, arrogant, won't care for his family. He'll bring shame to the Bauer name one day. He'll bring shame to the Bauer name one day. I avoid sticking my nose in other people's affairs, but Martin... Anyway, I didn't mean to complain. Until later, Magdalene. Until then... She doesn't get the until then. She's not Andreas. Ill Peter. Hello, Peter. Can I talk to you for a moment? Yeah. What is it? Can I talk to you for a moment? I was wondering if you could tell me some of the stories about... Yes, let's start with that one. Oh, the old tales, huh? Been so damn long since anyone had a thought to ask me about what I know. But there's still a few of the old tales knocking around this skull. Do you know any Roman legends around Tassing? Are there any myths from even before the Romans came to Tassing? Yes, that's more his angle. Of course there are. Romans weren't the first ones to live here, you know. There were spirits older than the saints that live in the woods, older than the Romans. They protected Tassing before St. Moritz even set a blessed foot in this town. What sort of spirits? But Father Thomas, I don't care about Father Thomas. I thought spirits only cause trouble, spoiling milk, making livestock sick, things like that. The only good spirit is the Holy Ghost. Everything else is the devil. I thought spirits, that'll trigger him, so let's say that. Some do, yes, but who do you think beats the spirits off? Us? What can farmers do against spirits, eh? It's Perchta and a wild hunt that scare them evil ones away. They've protected Tassing since its founding day. Long before those Romans, our ancestors roamed these mountains under a great chieftain called Raetus. Wait, isn't Raetus a Latin name? Yeah. The ending of his name is the masculine singular ending common with most male Roman names. Plenty of names end with the same letters. Don't make 'em Latin, does it? Now, quit your yammering and listen. Oh, Il Peter's great. Folk weren't as kind as they are now, and the tribes fought one another for the best land. The old chieftain was a yellow-bellied coward who neglected the old gods. He was too proud to make offerings. Because of him, the gods favoured other tribes and Raetus' people had no land to call their own. Instead, they wandered through these mountains and valleys, hunting whatever they could to survive. One day, when winter was approaching, Raetus went hunting. and found a wounded wolf tangled in a trap. But instead of killing the beast as most men would, he helped the beast and loosed it from its bonds. Was the wolf a spirit in disguise? Why would he do that? Wolves kill livestock. Carl told me 2 of his sheep were killed by wolves last month. Sounds like Rages was a bad chieftain too. I know it's foolhardy to let a wolf loose when you're hunting. Livestock. Don't keep... Fiffer? Don't keep after his livestock well enough then. As for you, let me go on with telling it. Stop being a gossip, if you want an answer. Sorry, Peter. Damn you, old man! Sorry, Peter. Please keep going. The old gods were keen to repair favours done, and Perchta is a goddess of the wild hunt. Wolves are her animals. She leads the wild hunt, and the wolf leads the hunts of the forest. Back in my day, people knew it were bad luck to kill a wolf. Now I'm the only one who remembers these things. Perchta saw Ratus' action and took favour on him. Told the wolf to lead the chief to her sacred spring. Ratus led his people to the spring and claimed it for his homeland. We've been in this valley ever since. Then those goddamn Romans came and destroyed everything. But you see, there were other gods protecting this place before St. Moritz. That's why a few of us still honour Perchta. She protects us against witches and fiends. That's a wonderful story, perfect for the first part of the mural. But God protects us from spirits and devils now. We don't need Perchta. Our salvation is in Christ. Shut up. So superstition is just sound like an old story, like a story told to children. It's a wonderful story, perfect for the first part of the mural. Good. Nice to know I can still be of some use in this town. What about the Romans? Do you know any Roman legends of tassing? Roman legends? Pah. I don't bother with stories from outsiders or tales of gods that aren't our own. Romans didn't do nothing but conquer our people and destroy this town. We've spent generation after generation building Tassin back up from those days. Still our traditions keep dying, or one to carry them on. Only Ursula's given a damn about them these days. I'm asking about them right now. That's why I want to know, Peter. These stories need to be in the mural. Yes. The mural, Fine. But I don't know any old Roman shit. Alright. I have a lot to think about. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, Peter. At least someone wants to listen to me. Little Ursula used to sit by me years ago and listen to everything about the old customs. Too busy for that now, of course, but you might talk to her. She might remember more than I do now. Used to listen to the widow too. Old Attilia. Knew more about the old ways than any of us. I'm tired. Talking so much has made my jaw ache. I'll leave you to rest. God bless you, Peter. Right, where's Ursula? Big jog? Magdalene. How are the hinges on your doors? Excuse me? The door hinges at home. Are they in good working order? To be honest, I haven't really checked. I'm more worried about taking care of the press and looking at door hinges. Well, the door's still open, so I expect they are. Yeah. Maybe Edry should have a look at them. I would have asked your father, but, well... Anyway, you won't believe how many people in town let their hinges rust.